Hello and welcome to another Blender Know-How tutorial. In this video, we're going to be creating a PS5. So I hope y'all are excited. I'm excited. This is the thing that we're going to be making. So let's just jump right into it and open up a brand new Blender scene. So I'm going to make sure that my screencast keys are turned on so you can see down here in the bottom left corner all the keys that I'm pressing. Let's start by making that centerpiece of the PlayStation 5. So yeah, let's go into edit mode with our cube here. And if we select these points, you'll notice that these back points aren't selected. To fix that, just go into wireframe mode. This will allow you to select all points so you can see. And you can see the back ones because they're not clipped. So the difference between those two are just like that. Cool. So let's start by making this a little taller. And I'm gonna extrude it or scale it out a little bit and do the same with the bottom. Make it a little smaller like that. Something like that. Looks like the basic shape of the inside. Now if we throw on a subdivision modifier, you'll notice that we got some issues. It's almost, oh well, first off we haven't done this axis, so we'll need to do that, but it's just like it's just too round for what we want. So let's start by going 3 on your numpad. They'll take to the side and grab the back 2 points. Let's move them back so that it's roughly square. And now we have a circle this way and an oval this way. Well, the way to fix this is pretty simple. We're going to take R and then scroll up and then, oops, R, scroll up, click, then right click. And if you hit S and you scale it on the X axis, you can move those out, and we're going to do that twice in the same spot. That will give it a fairly harsh edge. I'm going to go into object mode and hit shade smooth, and go back into edit mode. That'll give it a fairly sharp edge, which the PlayStation 5 does have on that center console. Now you can notice if we go to if we hit 3, it's very round on this side, and we don't want it to be. Quite frankly, we want this to be like this shape. So all we have to do is hit, like I just did, Control R and click. Or Control R, scroll up once and click. You'll get these 2 lines there, and that's about the same shape as the PlayStation 5 edges. So this is looking pretty good. You could also, if you wanted to, add that there, but I think that yeah, I guess that works fine. I would maybe even make that just a little bit smaller that way, maybe. Maybe go into wireframe, hit G twice and move that one down, and G twice to move that one up. Yeah, that actually looks pretty good. I think that's an improvement. So now all we're going to do is we're going to take and hit Shift A, add mesh and a cube. We're going to go into edit mode and move this to the side. We're going to make it really skinny, something like that, and then move it right here, rotate it, and then move this. Oh, again, I just about made a mistake. Go into wireframe, select the back points, and then move it up here. And it extends a little bit past, but not that far past the top. And this one comes down here and extends a little bit past the bottom, but not that far past the bottom. Okay, so something like that. And also note that at the bottom, the gap between this is a lot smaller than the gap between this, because there's a heat sink in between here. So something like that. Okay, now let's go into the side view by hitting 3 and grab this and pull it back here. And it does extend a little bit past the edges here too as well, but not that much. Okay, cool. So now what we're going to do here is we're going to put a loop cut here in the middle of both of these. Okay, and now we're going to take these the 2 middle points here and push them in just a hair. And then we're going to take these 2 points, or these 4 points, and pull them out. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. That's going to be the rough shape of it. So if we go into solid view and look at the outside of that, that's going to be it. So now all we have to do is add a subdivision surface. That will make it round. I'm going to crank that up to 3, go into edit mode, and add a loop cut here near the edge, a loop cut here near the edge, a loop cut here near the edge, and a loop cut here near the edge. And there we go. We have one side of this. Now all we have to do is go in here and hit mirror. Where'd you go? There you are. And we're almost done. This is already half of the PS3. So now I'm going to go here, shade smooth, hit add a cube. I'm going to go into the side view. And I'm going to place this in the middle. Now we're going to make the heat sinks that go around the edges. So to do that, I'm going to go into edit mode, go into wireframe, and place this up here, scale it down, really skinny, and then grab these top points, move them up. And the big thing you want to make sure is that if you were to rotate it here like this, that it's going to extend past that point. Okay, so you can actually make this as far as you want. We're going to end up doing something to it that will fix it. Okay, so now I'm going to stretch this out like that, and go into solid view, go into edit mode, hit add a empty plain axis, and I'm going to click on this. I'm going to go into wireframe, and the thing is, so here's the trick. You have to click on this one first, and then shift click on this one. The light colored, you can see that you can see if I click on multiple when I shift click, there's different colors of orange. The brighter color is the active selection, and it's always the last selection that you did. So if I click on my empty and then click on this is my active selection. If I hit Shift S, I can do right here, selection to active, and that will move the empty to the exact point of the origin of this. So now I'm going to come in here, add a array, and you can increase this if you want right now, it doesn't really matter, but we're going to turn off relative and hit object, and then click on the eyedropper and click on the empty. Now you do want to increase this now so you can see it. I'm going to put like maybe 80 or something, or maybe even 100. I'm just going to put 100, and then come in here, click on my empty, go to the side view, and then I'm going to go to solid so you can see this. It's going to rotate around. And if you rotate that, that is how that is done. Okay, so now we have a little bit of problem here, that we have some intersecting here. And this is fine if this is all you're going for. However, we're going to do a Boolean, and this will be treated as one object. And this won't work the way we want. So easy fix, we can go back into edit mode right here, and we can just pull these up here. But the problem is we got to go into wireframe and do it. Okay, so and just make sure they're not intersecting. That's the biggest issue here. And we're not going to be able to even tell that much either. And another way to do this is if you select all of them, you can make it skinnier, and then you can go closer in. I hope that made sense. The biggest problem is that you can't have that, but you can have that. Okay, so now I'm going to hide that for a quick second. Come click on this, hit Shift D to duplicate it, and then hit Z to go into wireframe, go to the front view, and tab into edit mode. I'm going to select all the points, scale them down a little bit, and scale them out a little bit, like that. Go out of edit mode, and I'm actually also going to go to the top view. So, sorry, go back into edit mode, go into wireframe, and grab just these middle points, and scale them up on the x-axis. Now when I go here, we'll notice that these, you can see there's some clipping issues. We don't want that. So go back into wireframe, select them, and scale them in, something like that. Now if we go back to solid, looking good. Okay, cool. So now this is going to be what we Boolean with this. So I'm going to take this, click on Boolean, and then eyedropper our last cube that we just made. Might take a quick second to calculate that, and then I'm going to, oh yeah, I've got to change that to intersect, and then hide this cube. And we have our heatsink. You can refine the edges here if you want a little bit so that they come in contact with this, or you don't have to either. One other thing that I noticed that I don't like is I don't like that this is coming so close to this front edge. So I'm going to open back up my Boolean cube, go into the 3, actually do this first or else your computer may not be able to handle it. Click on these to turn off and on the Boolean operation. I want it to be intersect, but I want that to be off. Okay, so I'm going to hide that for a quick second and click back on here, go into the side, wireframe, and I want it to be a little less in the front. I felt like it was too close to the edge. Now all we have to do is go back and turn all this stuff back on. So hide this one, unhide that one, and turn it on. There we go. Okay, that's looking pretty darn good. So now the last things we gotta do is just add the USB ports and give it color. So go in here, add mesh cube. I'm gonna place it right here, scale it down, move it to the front, scale in here a little bit. I'm actually gonna make it a little bit bigger, and if I remember right, the HDMI goes up, vertical, like that. Not like this, but like this. Okay, cool, that looks good. And then I'm just gonna go in here, add a subdivision surface, increase it to maybe 3, go back into edit mode, and do our little trick here, like that. That will add some round edges. I'm also going to do it on this axis so that we have it on both of those. I'm gonna go into the side, make it a little deeper, go back into solid view, and hit 1, Shift D, duplicate it, and I'm gonna take this. I'm trying to think of the easiest way to do this one. So we can take this, And let's get rid of these. So I'm going to hit Shift, or I'm just going to hit X and dissolve edge, and then scale this in like so. And then I'm going to take these and actually maybe move them closer to the edge. Okay, the only problem is I think the USB-C is a little bit smaller, so I'm going to hit A and just scale it down, and then maybe scale it up a little bit there. Yeah, something like that. Okay, so now I'm just going to take this right here and hit a Boolean. I'm going to make 2 Booleans because we're going to need to do it with both of them. Eyedropper that one, eyedropper that one, and then just go ahead and hide those. Now we do have another problem that with this, we'll have to fix that in a second. And we do have a problem right here with our now normals, and that's the easiest fix. You can go up here to edge split and we're done. That one, that's an easy fix. Now we can take this and we could also just add a Boolean, or we could do what we just did a second ago, and this is probably our easiest bet. I'm gonna hide this. So uncheck that, hide this, and then go to that, to our cut in, to our Boolean object here. And I'm just going to go into 7, or hit 7, go to the top view, take these front planes, and then just move them right behind that object. That's the easiest way, I think, and then just unhide and reactivate your Boolean and see how it looks. Yep, looks good, and we don't have to worry about Boolean it. If you wanted to, you can actually Boolean this from that as well, but just a pain, so I didn't want to have to do it. I also don't know, as far as performance, how it would like handle it, so that's good to do. Good to know. Okay, cool. So now there's a couple things we need to do here with these. So I'm going to duplicate this and hide the other one. So now we just have that one. The reason why I duplicated it is I'm going to go into edit mode and I'm going to take these 4 points. Actually, hit 7, go into wireframe and select, select this front plane and just hit X and delete those vertices. And select this back plane and hit X to delete those. So now we have a see-through cylinder looking thing. I don't know what you call that. But I'm going to make it a little smaller by hitting, I'm going to go to 1, make it a little smaller just to fit that there. Yeah, I like those edges. And then I'm going to go into wireframe and take these back edges right here, put them right there, hit E and scale up. And then I'm going to take these front edges, place them right here, hit E and scale, and then right click and scale up. Now you may wonder what this is for. On the PS4 and a lot of USB ports, there's a little thing of silver right here. So it's just a final, like just a finishing touch on that. And I think it adds a little bit of flavor to it. So I'm going to take cube 5 that I have and duplicate it, then hide it, and do the same thing with this one as well. So go into wireframe, delete these, move this up, scale it up. And you don't have to do this exactly like this, but this is my kind of easy way of doing this. And then you just want to make sure that it's something on that lines. And then we're going to give that a different color. One more thing to do, I'm going to take cube 5 and unhide it once again, and I'm going to shift D it, and then hide cube 5, scale it down, just to, well, I'll go into edit mode, select all, scale it down, hit 1, and then scale it just on the x-axis. Okay, looking pretty good. I'm now just going to go into object mode and move it back, duplicate it up here, center it in the middle there, hit tab and scale it up a little bit and move it towards that side. Well, maybe it needs to be a little bit longer that way. Something like that. And our USB port is a little bit big. You can go back and fix that. I'm not going to right now, just for the sake of time. So I'm going to take this. Okay, let's start shading. So I'm going to take that point. I'm going to start shading this fairly easy. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the shader editor, and I'm going to make a new material and make this the USB aluminum. I don't know, something like that. And then come in here, make it white, or you don't have to make it exactly white, but I liked it white. Turn up metallic all the way, and turn up roughness all the way. And I think those are the only things that I had to change on that one. Then all you have to do is come click on the other USB aluminum part, and then select USB aluminum. I'm going to also, you can do this in Eevee. I'm going to change to cycles and then turn GPU on, and then I'm going to just turn on my rendering so you can see what this is looking like. I'm also going to go into here. I think this is a really good way to see what objects look like with better lighting. So I'm going to go into the object and click color and do an environment texture. And you can get textures for this in HDRI Haven. You can pick any one you want. I like cloudier ones because it gives a better shadow ratio. Like it makes the shadows look a little bit better. But completely up to you on how you want to do this. Okay, cool. So now I just have this scenery, got this from HDRI Haven, and it gives lighting to this a lot better. Now you can see in here that because everything else is white, you can't really see a whole lot. So probably shouldn't have done that one first. Let's do this one. So this is going to be our black body of this. So I'm just going to do like main body. It's going to be black and it's going to be pretty shiny. So let's just make it black to begin with. And then if you come in here, you can already see that these have those shaders on them. So now I'm going to lower the roughness a hair. It's not very metallic, but it's just very glossy. So something in that range looks pretty good. Okay, so now I'm going to click on the outside body of this. And I'm just going to make a material called outside. This is going to be white as it'll go. And then turn up the metallic, because this part is fairly metallic, but the problem is it's a matte metallic, so it's not going to be shiny. So something like that will give it that kind of, yeah, see like right here you can see the light interacting with it like right there. So that's how that's going to work. I'm also going to turn on this so it's easier to see for you guys. Okay, cool. I'm also going to delete that light because I think that light was kind of being dumb. Okay, so now let's do the heatsink. So if I click on the heatsink and the heatsink, there you go, click new. I'm just going to make this material called heatsink, and then I'm going to make it completely black, completely metallic, and fairly shiny. So something like that. I think that's looking pretty good. So just some critique on mine. I noticed that I think this is a little fat for what it is. It should be like scaled in. You can't just scale it in without taking all of these, because you're going to have to take all of your Boolean objects as well. And I guess I could do that. However, it's going to be really slow. No, I guess that works. So now I'm just going to go back in here and hide those objects. So yeah, that looks great. Cool. That looks a lot better now. So I'm just going to go in and add a floor. I'm going to go into wireframe for this just to get a little bit more like close to the edges and scale it up. And then hit 3, Shift D, rotate it by 90, and that should be good. So I'm going to move my camera. So I'm going to hit Z, go into solid, move my camera to be right here, front facing this. I'm going to move this down. Hit Control Alt 0. You can click on your edge of your camera and move it in now by G and then middle mouse click and drag in. And position that camera in there fairly close. Now I'm going to hit Shift A, add, and a light. I'm going to add a point light. And it's right there in the middle. I'm going to move it to the side right here, and I'm going to go back into render view and then turn to, I don't know, 0.5 or maybe even 0.1. Yeah, something like that. And then go back to light and crank this up to 1000. And I'm going to make it blue. Okay. Actually, let's turn this to 10,000, and that will give it that glowing glimmer light. Now the other problem is it's too far close to the front, so you see this big reflection. When we move it closer to the back, because of the way that the PS4 is designed, you actually won't see that. And then I'm going to pull it out here just a hair, like that. I'm going to hit Shift D and add it to this side. So now we have that effect going pretty well. So I just need to go in here and hit 0.5. And we've got to actually add textures to this as well. And I'm actually just going to add that USB aluminum. So I'm just going to add those to that as well. You can make them black. I think it actually might be black in the real image. But my biggest problem is this wasn't white on my image. So that's why it doesn't give the same flare. So I'm going to go in here, add a new material, and make it black. Oh, that was a subsurface color. Make it black. Okay, and then I'm just going to assign it to this one as well. Material right there. Yeah, that's looking a lot better already. So now that has given the effect that we had from before. I might actually take this. So I'm going to hit 3 and then move it closer, because then we get a little harsher shadows up here. Yeah, so if we render this out now, you will see that there's a couple things here. I'm actually going to stop the render. I need to show you how to do this as well. So come up here to the filter and turn on the render, the camera button, and then turn off all of the stuff that we hid for that, and then hit render again. So that's how you make a PS5 in Blender. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, comment, and like. All that fun stuff down below if you like this video. If not, leave those things as well. And we'll talk to you next time on Blender Know How.